what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy. As far as this weekend goes, Jake, what felt tip plans are you working on? Is it a little week 2 preview you're cooking up?
Yep.
Yeah. It looks like we kind of got all the same games highlighted there.
Well, I think that it's a week where a team that had either a good week 0 and or week 1, like a good momentum, good or bad, like we thought they would do it or we weren't expecting that. They have interesting matchups and ones they have to be careful with.
It's a week where if you love college football, like every other week you're happy because there's college football, but it is a week where you have to go searching for the good games. Like this is a pretty pathetic start to me for the first 2 weeks of the season.
I got 9 that I really like.
I mean, but again, though, we're like, of course we really like it. All we do is talk and consume college football.
But, okay.
Like, where's the ranked unranked? Tulane Ole Miss. It's the only one.
But, like, Notre Dame traveling to take on NC State.
Again, I love that game. I got Notre Dame in the playoff. I got Hartman winning Heisman. Like, I need Notre Dame.
Yeah, so it's a road test.
No, absolutely. But, again, I'm talking about, like, the casual person showing up to the TV. They're not going to care about Notre Dame, NC State even. And that's one of the most exciting ones there.
We don't care about casuals.
Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. If college football, though, what I'm saying, if they're going to make all these Uber conferences, like everything they're doing is trying to capture the casual. And so it's just crazy to me that you have such a, like, where's all the ranked battles? I mean, you got Tulane, Ole Miss, and then what? Texas Alabama, right? It's the only one?
Texas A&M, Miami is, like, close to it. I mean, Miami is receiving votes.
Yeah.
I mean,
that game.
But
I'm excited. Look, again, me and you are not good metrics though, because also I got off on watching Wyoming Texas Tech finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know.
I talked to their coach yesterday, and by the way, Coach Bull, like he is. If I was 65 years old and a head coach, that's me. Oh my God, he was so old school. I loved it.
God, I love Wyoming's end zones. Absolutely beautiful mountain ranges. Just a great setting, actually, in general. But whatever, okay. So with that in mind, LSU is one of the boring games this weekend. And Jake, it's interesting. I was reading a Stuart Mandel piece. He's all about, Brian Kelly, colossal misstep here in game number 1, yada, yada. And something, because, we keep saying, like, there's nothing you're going to be able to do over the next couple weeks to please the general public.
Right.
You have to really focus inward, and you got to work for yourself, because that's all that matters at this point. The last line really reinforced it, where Mandel is quoting Brian Kelly, quote, "We've got a minimum of 11 more games," said Kelly, "and I'm going to tell you now, we're going to be better," close quote. And then Mandel writes, "We'll check back with him in November." So, like, that's how the national media is going to view LSU at this point.
Oh, without question.
They don't care what you do against even Mississippi State. They don't care what you do at the beginning. They aren't going to care about you again until Alabama. And so you know what? That's not an awful place to be. Who cares? You don't need attaboys. You don't need praise. All you need to focus on is what you can do to get better in that time. And so, yeah, like everybody who's yelling at you on Twitter, everybody who's upset, all the, us on the show sitting here critiquing, talking about what you could have done better. Nothing you're going to do this weekend is going to make us believe that you can beat Alabama or win a championship or anything. But that doesn't mean that you can't do things that can lead to those goals, right? Like I don't think you can, or I don't think you will, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out there, or that you shouldn't. You have to. You have to go out there and you have to work on you. You have to try to improve, and you have to fix whatever issues showed up week 1 so that you're a better team when you do get back to the big stage later in the year.
Yeah, if you need attaboys, you got plenty in the offseason.
Yeah, there's a problem.
So that should have fulfilled you for your attaboy quotient there before, but quota.
I know what you meant.
I know. Well, I got to fix it. Got to go back. Got to watch the tape.
Edit.
But for me, like, you fell into the same position last year. Like, it's the same thing that you did. So you have something to lean on as well. Mm-hmm. You can go back and you can say, hey, last year, because, like, I don't know for UT. For me, like, if I lose by 21, 28, if I lose by a point, like, a loss is going to be a loss, and it's going to sting. Like, in the game last year against Florida State, that thing could have been worse than it was. So, like, don't allow the point total to really affect your thought process. You lost the game, just like you lost a year ago. So don't think you can't do the same things that you did a year ago within that building. They have to have that same belief.
Yeah, I did think that there was one interesting kind of perspective that Brian Kelly offered on it, which was last year's team was used to being at the bottom. They had suffered the sting of being actually bad, and they knew what that felt like, how awful and miserable it was. And so because of that, it gives you extra motivation to be like, hey, you know what? I don't ever want to end up here again. This year's team, he said, because granted, a lot of them are young guys whose first year of football would have been last season. I mean, all they experienced was overachieving, right? Being praised, beating Alabama year one, winning 10 games, winning the SEC West. And so this team kind of took on that feeling of, okay, you know what? We're going to walk out there. We're going to roll the ball out there. And we're going to accomplish all that again. Did not happen. So now the question is this one loss enough to help this team find the fire, the drive, the attention to detail that last year's team did with 6 losses or whatever? Was it 7 by the Texas Bowl a couple of years ago? Can this one loss on the big stage spur you in the same way? We're going to find out. And that comes down to leadership. And I think it should, man, because also LSU's not that bad, like we said. There's a lot of good on that tape. That's all very fixable problems.
It is. And you have a get-right game this week that none of us, really nobody even in that stadium is going to give you credit for. Like, we've laid it out. And I feel like we'll probably give you more because we understand how difficult it would be to go on the road in the SEC, win a couple of games, beat Arkansas at home. So, I'm going to give you, some praise for that because if you go beat Mississippi State, if you beat Ole Miss, certainly, if you beat Mizzou, if you beat Arkansas at home, national talking heads might not give you praise for that, but that is the perfect formula to continue to build to what you want to get to. So you have the opportunity.
Yes, I agree. And again, the only people that aren't going to check in on this, we're going to be here every step along the way, obviously, right? And everybody listening will be, and we'll be caring. We'll be breaking everything down in detail. And then the only people who aren't going to care, it's the national spotlight. And then look, but you are guaranteed to get that national spotlight back, right? So you're going to have a chance for redemption on the big stage. This next time, you just got to make sure you're ready for it. How do you get ready for it? These next few weeks. Making the most of every opportunity that you have to hit the field. Harold Perkins, over the next few weeks, figure out what your role is going to be, how you're going to be used, and how you're going to execute on that game plan. Mason Smith, figure out what it feels like to play football once again, right? Reach back to that dominant level because that was already a really good interior defensive line on Saturday. You had Mason Smith, that makes it becomes damn really good. If you're the secondary, you got to execute better on the zone coverages when they're called. And, I mean, quite frankly, you just got to probably find ways to be better, to maximize everything that your physical skill set can attain.
I would throw this opportunity, T-Bob, more to the Tennessee 40-13 loss than even last year's opening loss. Because if you're looking for a comp, 40-13 is a butt whipping.
Yeah.
Right? And
yes, true.
After that, you had to go on the road to Florida. You had to play Ole Miss. You had to play Alabama. You had to play Arkansas on the road. And you rallied off victory, 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 victory. And then you beat UAB as well. But that, you had the A&M, one that's hard to explain. But we have proof of you getting just embarrassed in your own stadium and then coming back, going on the road in the SEC. Was Florida great last year? No, but they did have Anthony Richardson. It made that game very intriguing. And then you come back against Ole Miss, and then you beat Alabama in overtime, and then you find a way to win against Arkansas. So there's not going to be excuses. You did this with a lot of the same guys. 80% of these guys did it a year ago. You just got to go do it.
Yeah.
You got to bounce back. And during that time, you went and beat Florida, and I cared. Flynn cared because we hate Florida. T-Bob cared. But, you didn't get a lot of attaboys after that victory.
No.
And then you started to maybe get some when you beat Ole Miss. And then you got a bye week. And it was can you do it? And then certainly you started to get some after Alabama. But you can't worry about that. You got to put your head down and go to work. You did it after the Florida State game last year. You beat Southern, Mississippi State, New Mexico, on the road against Auburn. So you've done it before. You have to dig deep, find that in that past because you've done it in the past, and just go out there and play football and not worry about the headlines.
Yeah, and look, figure out the return game. Aaron Anderson, you gotta figure it out. The units blocking on return. If you're not willing to go hard, then get out. Then you don't deserve those reps. You got to figure out how to motivate this team. The wide receivers have to get on the same page with Jaden Daniels. They just have to be more effective if they're going to have that much talent in that room. And then everything like I said, I think the coaches and this comes with time as well because live reps versus offseason are different. The coaches have to put these players in better positions as well. And these are all perfect opportunities to work on all of that over the next few weeks as you start this slow climb back to relevancy. So this is where, just like Jake, what we say, like with a busy day coming up today, you just put the blinders on, you focus in on the task at hand. Like that's exactly what this team has to do. Like I would not touch you can't, I mean, whatever, you're gonna see social media stuff, but you just let it go like water off your back. None of it matters. No outside noise matters. All that matters is you doing your job, practicing your craft every single day. And when you work like that, like when you work with that focus and you remove all the excess baggage, it's one of those deals where you almost step out of space and time and then you look up and it's been 2 months and you're a much better football player than you were 2 months ago. So we'll see. And that starts with Grambling this Saturday. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.